Good day, you Lego City loving peoples. How are we today? Dubster coming at you with another city update. So last month we got the mountain, the tunnel and the tree all completed, and we talked about getting onto the waterfall. So that's what we're going to have a look at today. So my original plan was to build a wall of bricks. I had material across there. I was just going to build a wall of bricks in front of it and then put all my waterfall parts in front of that. And this was going to basically be the backdrop to the waterfall. So I've ordered all those parts, but some silly drongos come up with a different idea. So I no longer need those parts because we talked about putting some lights into the waterfall. I asked you guys what you thought about that idea. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've cut the material out of there so I can fit some lights. I can put some wiring down the back of the table there through that gap and run some power to them. So the lights, what did I come up with for the lights? Well, let's go onto the ground here. I bought these cascading lights and I think they're going to look really cool. So what I've done here is I've just spaced them out on a base plate. So that's basically going to be the width of the waterfall. Nice big chunky waterfall. So I've got to now work out a plan of how I'm going to mount these. So I've got to mount them to a board. I've got to put something across the front of them, so I'm going to work on that. We'll work on that together and we'll come up with something that we can use there so I can then mount that straight onto here. It's going to probably come out a little bit further than that board just there, so then I can run a plate out over the top of it and I can build my river out over down onto the waterfall. So that is the plan for today. So I'm going to head up the shed now and see how I can mount these onto something. And there's the backing mounting board. Just threw it together out of some scrap from the shed. Yes, it looks like a horse's ass, but it will look better once it's all finished. I've just got to fit the lights now and put a cover over it, paint it up. I was going to paint it blue. Then I was thinking for reflective purposes maybe white, but since I've already used that bit of board for some backing to paint on before, I might actually paint it silver. And here's the light board all made up, ready to be installed. I had some perspex up the shed, so I've put a cover over it. I even used some diffusing contact that I've stuck underneath there just to help diffuse the light a little bit. And there you can see all the lights. They're all zip tied onto the back there. So there's the back of the board, all the wiring all tied up. So it's just ready to go in now. And there it is in place. Now I know that you'd like to have a demo of it running, but I think I'm going to save it up because it'll look even so much better when all the Legos in front of it, all the translucent pieces I've got to now build. So I've got to get onto that. Really excited now. It's going to take me a while to build this waterfall though. Lots of stacking of studs. But yeah, less talking, more action. Holy dooly, this is going to take some work. As keen as I am to build the actual waterfall section, I really need to know what the rock work is doing to shape it before I do the waterfall. So that's what I've started on here. So I think that's as far as I'm going to come out, and then I'll start bringing that mountain back around and then have it blend into my green style mountain as it goes back. So I think that's pretty good. If we look from the side here, I think that depth is pretty good there. So now I need to start working out how I'm going to blend the blue and dark blue plates in underneath. I've gone with white here because it's going to be foaming up from the waterfall, so I've used white there. So I'm going to start trying to blend this in a little bit, cover up these green plates obviously. And this is the shape of the river, so you can see from the waterfall here as it comes down, it's then going to shape out to the sides here. So that's how wide it will be back here, and it will just shape out like that. So yeah, whew, I'll tell ya, it's taken me quite a few hours just to get this far. And then once, I think I'll try and do the rock work on this side, get the waterfall done, but then I've got to work on the top plate here and actually make it look like a river that's going into a waterfall. So I'm learning as I go, but I think that's looking pretty sharp there. I am going to use burps down the bottom here, but I'm going to blend them all in with lots of slopes and that to help tie it all together. So I think that will look pretty good. And yeah, I can actually remove this section. I take the whole section out and go and sit on my table. Well, no, I don't sit on my table, I sit at my table and keep working on it. So I'm going to stop and have lunch, and then I'm going to get right back into it. So I was hoping that I might get the whole thing finished in this update, but yeah, I think I'm being a little bit optimistic with that. It's taking a bloody long time. So what I thought I would do is take this opportunity to show you the technique that I'm using to build this waterfall. So first up, just want to show you the rock work. So I am using these burps here, but I'm using a lot of slopes just to help cover them up, and I don't think you can really even tell that there's burps used there. So that's looking pretty good. I've done this side as well, and I've done this side of the waterfall rock work, and I've put some plates in here, so it's going to be nice and deep in the middle with the dark blue. So I've used white here, as I talked about before, for the foaming water, and then it's gone to regular blue on the outsides just to indicate shallow water. This will all be tiled with light bluish, light trans blue tiles. Get that right. So let's have a look at the actual technique here. So you can see down the bottom I've used clear bricks. So that's just to help hide the whites a little bit, give it a bit more depth. And then I'm using studs for the actual waterfall effect. And then what I'm doing, if I get round to the side here, I'm using clear plates every now and again. I'm using some to go across the rows of studs. That's just to try and make it a little bit more solid, so you can see it's all not real solid, but it's holding as one piece. And then I've got pieces sticking out here, which then I'm going to attach second runs of studs. A little bit hard to show you, I'm not sure how good that's coming across, but to give it a bit more depth as the water's falling. And then I'm going to have a lot more studs coming out here, just foaming up as the water crashes down into the river. Yeah, that is the technique, using a lot of studs. I've got bags of clear here, another one underneath, bags of blue. I've ended up having to use another bag of blue. I've got to use a fair bit of blue because I just don't know how much this is going to take me. It's a little bit hard to work out. I need 138 studs for one row, and that's just one single row. And then of course I'm doubling it up. So I'm using a lot of trans light blue as well, just to help mix it up a little bit. But I think that gives a pretty nice effect. And yeah, I don't think we'll really appreciate it until the whole thing is done. But that's the technique I'm using. I was going to fan this out a little bit more, maybe use tan or white on the edges to sort of show it going even shallower. But I've kind of figured with the rock work there, it's a nice and steep cutoff, so the water's going to be pretty deep in this river, not a lot of shallow edges. So that's my theory anyway. It saves me some parts and a bit of time. But overall, I think that is going to look pretty good. Well, I'm hoping it is anyway, because it's a lot of bloody work. Okay, guys, I'm at a bit of a crossroads. I've used a lot of the trans light blue studs in the waterfall, The reason I did that is because it was hard for me to get enough of the trans clear studs. So I got plenty of these just to supplement the clear studs. And all was honky-dory. I've built the back wall, so to speak. And when I added, it's going to be a little bit hard to show. Maybe if I bring the contrast down might help show. I wanted to have the water as it's coming off the cliff edge of the river and falling. I wanted to have that all in clear. And once I've put that all in clear, I like the look of that more than the mixed of the blue and the clear. So a little section here. So it's on my viewfinder, I can't really see what I'm doing here. So I'm hoping it's coming across on screen for you. But I've got all these little plates sticking out, and that is to add sections of the water, so it gives it some depth. So the water's falling. I've used mixed sections here of blue and clear there, and then this 4 rows here is all just clear, and I just think that looks better. So I'm not gonna fix the back wall. I'm going to leave some of the trans blue because I think that sort of does add to it. And even down to the bottom here, you can sort of see all this, but where it's here where I've just used clear, I think that looks better to me than using the trans light blue. And then I can use some of the trans light blue. I like this effect here where it merges from the clear to the trans light blue studs. So I'm liking that. I think this is all starting to look pretty good. But yeah, I'm still a bit concerned about how this waterfall is looking. So I love this top section. I think that's looking really good. So what does that mean? Well, that's all I've got left of the clear studs. It's still a fair wad, but I had 3 of those bags to start with that were pretty full. So yeah, what I'm thinking of doing now is stopping working on this section, work on the top section of the river so I can get that completed. I should have enough of the parts I need to finish that, and then whatever I've got left over I can come back and keep working on this to know how far I can get. But the bottom line is I need to get more clear studs, so I'm going to have to order them. They're hard. They've just gotten harder and harder to get. When I first started ordering for this project, they were easy, and it's just gotten where there's less and less available. So I'm going to have to go overseas. I'm looking at ordering around 2,000. Now, that's probably going to take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for me to get them. So it's really going to slow me down on this project. So what I'm thinking about doing now is just putting this into place in the city. We'll have a quick look at it. We'll wrap this video up. I'll keep working on the top section. And so when the parts come in, I can do another city update, and I've got something to show with the top section, and hopefully I can get another good go on this bottom section and try and get a bit more of that done. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, that's why I was really apprehensive to do this project, because I just really don't know how it's going to turn out. And hopefully if I throw some more parts at it, I'll get the effect that I'm after. Well, putting it in place, and I think that's looking really good now. I get to see it like this. I definitely think the all clear on the second run of studs is definitely the way to go. Just looking at that, where I have it where it's a mix of blue and clear, it just blends all in, whereas having it all clear with the blue and clear at the background really helps that depth. So yeah, I'm really liking that. So I've got to go ahead with that. I've gone ahead and ordered some parts. I've ordered some clear studs. To get the number I needed, I've had to order from overseas. So I've got 1,600 coming from Moscow. So that's going to take a little while to get. I'm thinking probably 2 months at the earliest it's going to take to get those parts. So this is going to put me on hold for a little bit. I've got 400 coming from in Australia here, so I'll be able to do a little bit to it, but you know, throwing 400 studs at this is really nothing. I mean, even 2,000 is nothing. I mean, I'll have to do a rough calculation. I lost track of how many I ordered, but I'll have to do a rough calculation of how many's in when I'm done, because yeah, it's quite insane. Just so you know, that waterfall is 46 bricks high. I've put my minifigure there just to give you an idea of scale. So yeah, it's a huge waterfall. But yeah, I think that is looking really good. Let me know what you think. What should I be, what do you think? What should I be doing? Any ideas, any suggestions? Let me know in the comments below. I've got a little bit of time now, so I might be able to implement something else. Now, I've got to get into this top section and get that done. So what I might do is I might, just in between, I might do a short city update, maybe in a few weeks' time, where I can just do this top section here, maybe just a 5-minute city update, just to give you something in between, and I can probably even sort of put it in place and we can marry it up a little bit. I'm not quite ready to remove those top bricks. That's the only problem, because that's just helping hold it all together, so when I move it, it just makes it a little bit more sturdier, because eventually that top row of bricks will come off and the river section will actually clip onto the studs, the first row of studs on that waterfall anyway, and that will just lock it all into place. So yeah, that's the plan, that's the theory. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, if you enjoyed this city update, let me know down in the comments. You can also let me know by giving it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, you got to be subscribed. I'm really keen to light this up for you. I'm going to hold off. I know it's a bit of a tease because I can run it now, and I tell you, it looks pretty sweet. But yeah, I'm going to hold off until the whole thing is complete before I show off the light effect. But just taking a look now, I think that's looking really good. I've got to now work on closing this gap, because then that's just going to look sweet once all that is done right along to here. I think that's going to look very, very good. So yeah, that's it for this city update. Hope you did enjoy it. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.